Draw your last pathetic card so I can end this, Yugi.
My grandpa's deck has no pathetic cards, Kaiba. But it does contain the unstoppable Beaver Warrior!
Ah! Impossible!
If you're wondering what that clip just was, that is exactly what happens every time you win a game with this deck. So I'm going to say this right now, the title of the video is a little bit clickbaity, in that even though this deck does have a pretty good win rate into Koa'ki Meiru, since it runs a ton of delay cards, and your Koa'ki Meiru cards don't like the game being delayed, since every time the game is delayed they just discard cards from their hand, it's not exactly used to counter that deck, and I wouldn't be using this to try and counter it specifically. The main reason you use this deck is because you like that animation you just saw. And just a heads up, this deck has an absolutely horrendous win rate against probably the second most popular deck on the ladder, Ancient Gears. So if you are planning to play this deck, don't play it to climb or to win the KC Cup or anything, because you're just going to lose over and over to Ancient Gear decks. Alright, so the win con of this deck is to go through the skill Destiny Board, which is one of the 3 alternative win conditions in Duel Links, similar to Exodia or Fatal 5. What this skill does is if your life points are below 2000 and you have Dark Necrofear in your graveyard, you can activate the skill. At the end of your 5th turn after activating the skill, you will win the duel, and that little animation you just saw will play out. So the entire aim of this deck is to get Dark Necrofear into your graveyard, lose 2000 life points, and then delay the game for 5 turns until you win. If you're wondering what Dark Necrofear does, basically it cannot be normal summoned or set, and must first be special summoned from your hand by banishing 3 Fiend-type monsters from your graveyard. If the monster is then destroyed by an opponent's monster or by another monster by battle, it can then take control of one monster your opponent controls during the end phase and equip itself to that monster. So although this deck can actually use this ability and sometimes you will be able to use it, generally you don't want to use this effect, as this deck isn't a Dark Necrofear deck, it's a Destiny Board deck, and you want this card in your graveyard, not on the board taking control of your opponent's stuff. So how exactly are you going to get this card into your graveyard? The first step is obviously to get the card into your hand. So to do that we run Doomdog Octhros. What this card does is if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 level 8 Fiend type monster from your deck to your hand. So if this card dies, you can add Dark Necrofear from your deck to your hand. Then the obvious next step is to get it into your graveyard. So to do that we use Hallowed Life Barrier and Rainbow Life. What Hallowed Life Barrier does is allows you to discard 1 card, and this turn any damage you take from your opponent's cards and effects become 0. Similar to that, Rainbow Life allows you to discard 1 card until the end of this turn. Whenever you would take damage, you gain that life points instead. So obviously the aim of these cards are simply to 1. Discard Dark Necrofear to the graveyard, and then help you get through the 5 turns required for your skill. There is one important thing to note with Rainbow Life, in that it does actually have some negative synergy with your skill. Since your skill requires you to be below 2000 life points, not have taken 2000 damage, but to be actually below 2000 to activate it, Rainbow Life can have negative synergy with it, since Rainbow Life does heal you. Generally when using Rainbow Life, you want to try and use it at times when your opponent will consider not attacking, so using it at the start of the battle phase rather than when he's actually swinging at you, so then if he doesn't choose to swing at you, you won't heal yourself. Or to use it on the very last monster they have, so you don't heal yourself too much. The rest of the deck is just purely more delay cards to help you get through those 5 turns required. Curse of Anubis and Windstorm of Etaqua have very similar effects, and both of them change all of your opponent's monsters' battle positions. So you'll use these cards at the start of the battle phase, send every single monster they have to defense position so they can't swing at you. Obviously Curse of Anubis is a much stronger card in that it does make sure your opponent can't actually change their battle positions for the rest of the turn, but it does have a weaker matchup in just something like maybe Blue Eyes, since it only works on effect monsters. Winged Kuriboh is probably the strongest delay card in Duel Links, which is why the last 3 cards in the deck are all dedicated to Winged Kuriboh. What this card does is if it is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, for the rest of the turn you will take no battle damage. The Flute of Summoning Kuriboh allows you to either add 1 Winged Kuriboh from your deck to your hand, or special summon 1 to the board. So keep in mind this is a quick play spell, so you can set it and use it during your opponent's turn, instead of just adding a Kuriboh to your hand, so it can bait out some of your opponent's removal spells since they'll target this card and then you'll just quick play activate it. The last card in the deck is Powerful Rebirth. This card's effect generally doesn't matter at all, except for the part where it can special summon 1 level 4 or lower monster from your graveyard. So generally, you want to use this on your Kuriboh to bring your Kuriboh back again, so then you can delay the turn again. Alright guys, that's basically it for the towing part of this video. The rest of this video will be 5 gameplays showing this deck in action. If you liked the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new around here, comment if you got any questions or feedback. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Also join my Discord.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob?
Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis.
Oh.